I read this book a few moments ago, my dear viewers. Hello, what's new in your life? In my life, I don't know what to say, but I wanted to capture my feelings because last words of this book, The Fault in Our Stars, is so Jesus. It is amazing. It is nice. I feel good right now because I was reading this book, and emotions, it is only for some seconds. You will not capture it so right. And from this book I learned, I don't know what, about choices, that Augustus likes his choices and Hazel likes her, and it is end of the story, by the way. I'm recording this video. I have been recording this video for 1 minute 20 seconds. Jesus Christ! But it is amazing. I cried on this book more than how much? Maybe more than 10 times of whole book. Whole book, it is 300 pages. I understood this page. I understood this book. This book about cancer, love, about life, death, and about that. Jeez, what the sound? About fun in some moments. What's the sound? The sound of my rice cooking machine. And in this book, I didn't plan this video. What have I learned from this book? I learned that need to enjoy your life, and it can be hard, it can hurt you, but you should enjoy it every day and be joyful. Because yes, it hurts, but it always could be worse in some moments. It is so motivational. It is not super motivational. It is not like a Nick Vujicic biography. Nick Vujicic biography sucks. If we will compare this and Nick Vujicic biography, it is really winner. And I don't feel like people with cancer, so I don't feel that people with cancer are so pathetic, and that we should always try to please them. I think that they are humans too. Yes. And I feel good right now, by the way. Sorry for this video, maybe in some moments, because you maybe was expecting that it will be like I will talk all my thoughts, but 4 minutes and 30 seconds ago finished this book. Like my rice cooking machine is finishing my rice for cooking. And about this story, in this story we have a writer, not writer who wrote, not author, but author of and an AIA book from this. AIA book means Book of Hazel. Yes, Hazel is character. And a writer was so good for writing, but he was so pathetic person, but he had reasons to be pathetic, and we can say like he's pathetic, but we didn't know his circumstances and why is he pathetic. Maybe he needs some help because his entire inner power cannot help him with it, with crushing this pain, and his actions is only alcohol consumption, like consumer, and he tries to fill his body with alcohol to remove this pain, and when he uses alcohol, he becomes not good person. It is book about it something, and I think that this person is so Van Hauser is so smart and so wisdom person. He is like a person who gives in some moment good thoughts in this book. Else Augustus died, and I don't like it so much, and life is temporary, and universe wants to be noticed, like we can read from this book. Else I want to say that in this book I found lines of really inspiration. For example, about joy, that you will not feel joy if you didn't feel pain, because it is comparing. Our life is comparing. So big amount of bubbling, and I feel not super nice with these sounds. Okay, what's more about characters analysis. Girl Hazel, she is so toxic, I want to say. Before, when I started, oh jeez, what's going on here? Stop. When I only started to read it, I thought, oh Jesus, see, she thinks so toxic way, and I don't like it so much. I don't respect it. But eventually in last pages of book, I thought that okay, people can be kind, people can be somebody, people can be not somebody, it means with some characteristics. They can choose them, but they choose them by their own choices and their own but their own desires, what they want to be, what kind of person they want to be. And maybe I will not pay attention so much to people who, after reading this book, what have I learned? Maybe I will not pay attention so much to people who are so aggressive and so feeling like this way, like Hazel. Maybe they have the same, but for me, I will not judge this kind of people. I will not be with them so long amount of time, because I don't want to be like them in my real life, like toxic people. But I will not judge them. No need to judge them. It is what I learned. Also about love. I wrote letter for Vlada. It is not my girlfriend. She's girl that I wanted to be my girlfriend. Yes, and I wrote her letter by my handwriting while I was reading this book on 270 pages. 217th page maybe, I wrote her letter by my own. It was kind of like this, by the way, look, bubbly. If I will translate it for you, it will be smile. Look, smile, it is the best way to start your nice day. Vladulka, it is like a Vlada Lin. I gift you this smile and I wish that your day will be so miracle as you. I wrote her this letter. It is kind of interesting, and maybe she will be my wife, I don't know, maybe not, but it will be good time that if we will spend together with Vlada, because she's smart, beautiful, and I like her intoxic things. It means that I like her attitude. Yes, this book about attitude, by the way. Attitude of parents. That means like a daddy. Dad who always cries. Mom who always tries to please Cancer girl. Parents of Hazel, nephew, and brothers-in-law of Augustus, Isaac, who was touching boobs of one girl. His name is Monica, and she broke up with him. And I learned also vocabulary from this book. I learned vocabulary like of cancer, yes, cancel, capula, these tubes, I learned, I can't say it, but if I will read material about cancer, I will understand it. Because it is so hard sometimes to define things. But I imagined them in my own head. After reading this book, I will understand more love stories. Maybe if I will read more love stories, if I will understand. Also, from this book, I learned vocabulary of Amsterdam and Anne Frank house, because they, mom plus Hazel plus Augustus wrote Old Tower Road. They wrote to Amsterdam. It was interesting story, by the way. And also about vocabulary, what did I learn more? About church, about death ceremonies. Yes, about one thing that it is like a eulogy. I don't know, it is a speech before someone will die, or it is like a toast. Yes? It was interesting to learn this vocabulary. Death, love. Okay, what kind of vocabulary I learned? Death, love, hospital, school, toxic vocabulary. Also about cancer, churches, heart of Jesus. And I think that's all. Yes, maybe some more. Anne Frank and Amsterdam and Indiana, and some kind of labels of shoes, of t-shirts, sexual things, because we have like a sex or not, but I didn't understand they had sex or not, because on picture we have situation with bad lying that Hazel and Augustus were doing kissing on bed, and after that they were trying to do sex, but I don't understand. I didn't understand the whole situation. They did it or not, because after he was tired and Hazel wrote letter with circle of virgins and 17 years old one leg inside of this, and it was I don't know, was he virgin or not. About funny moments, yes, in some moments it was funny, but I don't understand so much humor on English, because for me it is hard to understand, because I'm thinking about not story. I'm thinking about not story. I'm thinking about comprehension. But yes, I understood emotions in cry moments. I really did. I remember moments from this book when I did. Look. Without pain, how could we know joy? I marked, I cried. Else, one moment. Where is it? One moment. Mom, I love you so much, I shouted, and she came to the bed and let me hug her, almost watering. And all notes that I have in... Oh, one more. that I have inside of it. I remembered grandma Mother Masha. I watered. It was when they were speaking about death ceremony, about cold phone, and I remember that my grandmother died when I was 5 years old or 6 years old, and I didn't understand why is mama crying. I remember that I was on my first apartment when I was living. I was sitting on couch, and in near room, parents' room, mom was crying after phone call. I don't remember what does she dress. I don't remember did I cry or not, but I remember that she was crying, and I didn't understand so much situation of it because I was a child. Yes. About this book is so good, but in some moments it is not super intriguing. Yes, it is intriguing, but I don't feel like I didn't feel like I want to read more. What will end? I thought that somebody will die, and I didn't know who will be. And in this book, I learned. On this book, I was reading this book. I was reading this book, and I didn't feel like I want to read more and more, because sometimes it was in moments of playing computer game. They were playing, and it was for two chapters, and it was kind of boring for me. Also, I respect John Green. John Green is its author and also person who created Crash Course, or not? Crash Course YouTube channel. What's more, I underlined many of vocabulary inside of this book. Maybe it will be for 400 or almost 400 new words. 300 is 100% I have new words in this book, and I will learn it. Yes, new vocabulary. I mean that I didn't understand it. I only was guessing, and I also had vocabulary on this book that I did understand, that I understood, but I should relieve it. I should refresh it in my mind. Yes, good book. It will not be the best, but it is first book of all books what I read that I was crying a lot. First book that I read and I was crying so much, and I was missing to girl that maybe don't like me, maybe like, but maybe love, but I don't know. And this book reminded me about my family, about situation when mother was crying, about situation on my school of active students when we were crying, and it was talking about we were talking about things that was secretive, that were secretive for everybody, like a smashing and punching mother deals from father husband. It is violence. We were speaking about it, that somebody's mother were violenced by husband, by father. I remember I refreshed it after reading this book when we were speaking about it on schools of active students on my university, previous university. Else, what's more, about love, about death, about toxic, about cancer, this book, about traveling, and about treatment. And about love with pain, and about like when you guess that something can go wrong, about forecasting not good moments and feeling pain in these moments. Maybe this book teaches you that no need to feel pain so much. Also, one more lesson I learned from this book, that my rice is cooked. We also I learned that we do scars to the planet, not like good things. Like from Fahrenheit 451, I learned about that we remember not people, we remember what they do. And in this book, they do scars, or maybe gifts, but for some people it will be scars. Maybe it will be lovely scars, good scars, like scars that always feel nice, or maybe scars that hurt. Yes. But thanks so much for watching this video. It was not super prepared, sorry for it. But okay, thanks so much a lot. You can share it for your friends who read this book. It is an interesting book. I cried so much. The most cryful book what I ever read. Yes. And maybe I will read again this book. It is for emotions, it is 9 of 10. For book writing, it is 6 of 10. For a book is it interesting or not? But for emotion, it's just 9 of 10. Yes. Maybe I will cry more from one more book. I will, oh Jesus, so emotional. Thank you. Forrest Gump was the nicest and cryful movie, but it is the most cryful book. I didn't read Forrest Gump fully. Need to read it maybe. Thanks a lot. Recommend your books in the description below, in the comment section. And I want to say that my English is improving, and I will continue my journey of learning English. I'm a Russian man who wants to be musician and wants to be English-speaking person outside of Russia, or maybe inside of Russia. But I don't want to live in Russia because it is so sometimes scary. It is not super scary, but on streams it is sometimes was scary when some person with knife were running at me. Okay, thanks. See you next time. Be strong. It is 27th. 27 September 2019.